Merhaba, Sivil Toplum izliyor, İnsan Hakları Eylem Planı ile ortaya konan 9 amaç ve 11 ilkenin yanı sıra 393 faaliyetten hayata geçirilenlerin aylık dökümünü yaparak atılan adımların eylem planıyla hedeflenen amaçlara uygunluğunu ve yeterliliğini tartışmayı amaçlasa da Ağustos ayında yalnızca sivil toplumun gördüğünü takipçilerimizle paylaşabileceğiz. Belki bir miktarda yasama tatilinin etkisiyle ilgili bakanlıklar İEF faaliyetlerinde Ağustos ayında atılan bir adımı kamuoyuyla paylaşmadılar.
An investigation was started against Adıyaman Gerger Fırat Daily News Director Özgür Boğatekin due to a social media post he made on the killing of 7 family members in Konya with a racist attack. The journalist has expressed that the brutally murdered family had been victimized by the government and they hadn't been able to benefit from the opportunities of protection. Therefore, the journalist is charged with public incitement towards resentment and hostility. Boğatekin had previously been summoned to testify last year, again due to sharing a racist attack against seasonal agricultural workers in Sakarya on Facebook. The investigation against him had concluded with non-prosecution.
The killing of 7 family members with a racist attack in Konya was protested in many provinces. The police intervened against the statement organized by political parties and non-governmental organizations in Van with tear gas and pressurized water. 9 people were detained. A group gathered in Şişhane district of Istanbul for a protest, and after the group was dispersed, the group members were attacked by another group in the narrow streets of Kasımpaşa with iron and wooden sticks. The attackers beat journalists Taylan Öztaş, Hayri Tunç, Enes Sezgin and Rojin Altay as well, as they were following the protest. 2 journalists were detained after going to the hospital.
The police intervened against the protest of women who gathered to protest the recent killings of Azra Gülendam Haytoğlu and Emine Göküz following the call of Istanbul Convention Ankara campaign group. The women said, "We do not give up on the Istanbul Convention and we demand the execution of Law Number 6284. The police took the women under blockade with barricades and detained 11 women with physical violence.
In the meantime, the Council of Europe Convention on Preventing and Combating Violence Against Women and Domestic Violence, better known as the Istanbul Convention, celebrated its 7th anniversary. Turkey withdrew from the Istanbul Convention in March with a decree signed by Erdogan, and the convention was officially repealed last month. As women continue to defend the Istanbul Convention, unfortunately, femicides continue to increase.
According to the data compiled by Bianet, men killed at least 24 women in July and raped 7 women. On the other hand, 11 women's deaths were found suspicious.
Cin News One reporter Hikmet Tunç, who has been prosecuted due to reporting a news article with the headline "They performed the destruction, then went missing," was sentenced to 8 months and 22 days of imprisonment with the allegation of insulting the trustee that was appointed to Muradiye municipality in Van. The Muradiye Criminal Court of First Instance decided for the announcement of the verdict to be deferred. Cin News indicated that the hearing was not held due to the court decree on a simple prosecution procedure, and the journalist didn't even testify before the court decree was issued. The news article in question was about trustee Erkan Savar having issued a tender that was worth 4,500,000 Turkish liras to companies for the landscaping and recreation of Muradiye Falls, and that the companies had disappeared before they even completed the project.
Bianet editor Evrim Kepenek testified following the criminal complaint made by Refik Ye, who was arrested due to abusing his 6-year-old child and was later released on the condition of judicial measures. Refik Ye filed a criminal complaint against the journalist due to insult and violation of privacy. The journalist has reported the related news article with the headlines "Father Arrest Over Abusing Child" and "Father Abusing Child Released with Judicial Measures."
Bir Gün Daily reporter Saria Toprak has been following the schedule of Minister of Environment and Urbanization Murat Kurum, who was visiting the villages having been affected by the wildfires. As Toprak was recording visuals, she was prevented by the police from doing so. The police told Toprak to turn off her camera. After Toprak didn't turn off her camera, she was then prevented by the minister from recording visuals. Minister Kurum said, "Turn it off. Even though you're a journalist, you can't record visuals." After the words of the minister, the police tried to forcefully turn off Toprak's camera and the journalist was forced out of the area.
The Radio and Television Supreme Council, RTIC, has sent a warning letter to TV channels reporting the news of massive wildfires happening all across the country last week, demanding the wildfires not to be broadcasted. The council gave consecutive penalties against TV channels, not abating by its previous demand. 6 different TV channels were penalized from 17 files based on their news on the wildfires, as well as the council's letter on censorship.
The report, monitoring study on rights violations against Kurdish artists with a focus on musicians and actors prepared by the Ismail Beşikçi Foundation, was shared with the public. The report indicates that the ideology that considers the Kurdish language as a matter of security and thus prevents the use of the language with arbitrary bans create consequences like discrimination, self-censorship, and personal financial issues, making it more difficult to create art in Kurdish as well. According to the report, a majority of the rights violations against Kurdish artists stem from applications violating the discrimination ban. Discriminatory attitudes that start from the legislative process as the cultural politics are being determined reveal themselves in different levels, such as not assigning stages to Kurdish plays in public theatres, not providing financial support for the production of Kurdish artwork, as well as the attitude of the police forces arbitrarily preventing the practice of artwork in Kurdish.
The Constitutional Court decided that the imprisonment sentence issued against Oğuz Demirkaya in 2014 over commenting under an online news article was a violation of freedom of expression. The High Court stated that the imprisonment sentence issued against Demirkaya was disproportionate and issued 13,500 Turkish liras of moral compensation to be paid to Demirkaya, and for the file to be sent to Sivas Second Criminal Court of First Instance for a reprosecution and for the consequences of the violation to be eliminated. Demirkaya was a departmental manager at Sivas Cumhuriyet University and had commented on the news of Egemen Daily by forming a relation between the news and the surname of university's rector communication advisor. During the prosecution, Demirkaya had indicated that he was sharing humorous content under the online news in order to draw readers' attention to the news content. However, he had been sentenced to 1 year, 2 months, and 17 days of imprisonment and had been banned from public service for life.
The Izmir Chief Public Prosecutor's Office started an investigation against the social media content on the Altındağ incidents, which was shared by the Refugee Media Association through the news portal mültecimedyası.org due to public provocation through resentment and hostility. The incident started with the news on a Syrian refugee attacking 2 people with knives on August 10th, later continued with the looting of many homes and stores belonging to refugees in the entire region of Altındağ. One person who was injured in the initial incident had died.
18 non-governmental organizations made a declaration on the attack against Syrians in Altındağ district of Ankara and called the entire society to stay away from hate speech and not fall under the trap of discrimination and racism. The organizations stated that the discriminative language against the refugees has to stop immediately, and that the public has to be informed about the politics on migration clearly and transparently. Furthermore, the organizations demanded an end to the arbitrariness and unclarity of what will happen to the refugees and migrants, which turned into a threatening element against them.
The Istanbul Chief Public Prosecutor's Office started an investigation against the comic book Heartstopper by English writer Ali Sosaman due to obscenity. The prosecutor's office requested for the book to be examined by the Council to Protect Children from Obscene Publications. DNR and Edifix stopped the sale of the book. The book is about a character named Charlie who's bullied at school due to his sexual orientation, meeting another character named Nick.
In the reply given by Ministry of Justice to the Constitutional Court on the arrests within the investigation started after a visual of Kaaba was on the floor during an exhibition at Boğaziçi University, the ministry targeted the LGBTQ pluses by calling them haram. According to the ministry, homosexuality is haram according to Islam, and thus the arrest warrants are in total compliance with the law.
Demirören News Agency reporter Ahmet Yeşilmen, cameraman Kubilay Özev and İhlas News Agency reporter Erdal Can İçelli were prevented by guards from following news information in Beylikdüzü district of Istanbul. The guards applied heavy intervention against the journalists who were following the news on the death of a 3-year-old who was found unconscious in an elevator shaft.
The Human Rights Association Diyarbakır branch made an announcement on the second anniversary of the beginning of trustee appointments to People's Democratic Party municipalities. The announcement indicated that democracy, human rights, and freedoms have been suspended in Turkey after July 15, 2016, and that operations against local administrations, which effectively revoked the right of election, have started in 2016 with the appointment of trustees to 95 municipalities.
This process has continued after the local elections in 2019 as well. In the last 2 years, co-mayors of 49 municipalities, including 3 metropolitan, 5 provincial, 33 district and 8 regional municipalities, were dismissed and were replaced with trustees, and 31 co-mayors were arrested. The Human Rights Association further stated, the minimum required democratic basis for the citizens' participation in the administration was removed, and the principle that states municipalities shall be governed by an elected municipal administration and assembly has been suspended and revoked.
13 non-governmental organizations, including our initiative, reacted against the reply letter sent by the Ministry of Justice to the Constitutional Court regarding the arrests of Boğaziçi University students. We recognize the letter as dangerous and completely against the country's legal system, the organization stated. The joint declaration pointed out that even though the ministry claimed the arrests were in accordance with the law and constitutions, the arrests were based on religious reasons, which clearly went against the principle of a secular state of law that is guaranteed in the Turkish constitution. The organization stated, the Ministry of Justice, targeting people with different sexual orientations by referring to the Islamic religious scripture, carries the quality of indictment towards resentment and hostility, and continues a clear and close factor of danger.
A lawsuit was filed against women with the charges of insulting the president and participating in illegal meeting and demonstration due to the slogans they chanted during the Feminist Night Walk, which was organized at Taksim Square in Istanbul on March 8th. The indictment, which was accepted by Istanbul 10th Criminal Court of First Instance, claims imprisonment sentences against 17 women from 2 years and 8 months up to 7 years and 8 months due to insulting the president and participating in illegal meetings and demonstrations.
An indictment was prepared against stage actor Genco Erkal due to his social media posts. In case the indictment is accepted by Istanbul's 16th Criminal Court of First Instance, Erkal will be prosecuted with an imprisonment claim against him for up to 4 years and 8 months due to insulting the president. The master actor spoke on the matter and said, in case the indictment is accepted, I will defend not only myself, but especially the most basic values of the Republic, as well as nature, democracy, human rights, and freedom of expression at court. I thank them for giving me this opportunity. Theater Critics Union reacted against the indictment as well, saying Genco Erkal has a bright future and he is not alone on this road.
The Constitutional Court decided that it was a violation of freedom of expression and press freedom to sentence journalist Halit Basık, who was a columnist for Hatay's local newspaper Onuncuköy Daily, to 2 years and 5 months of imprisonment due to insult through 2 separate news articles he reported in 2013. The Constitutional Court issued for Basık to be prosecuted again and for compensation to be paid to him. On the other hand, the Constitutional Court further decided that the mistreatment ban was violated since the complaint of a citizen whose outfit was forcefully searched by the police and was beaten by the police as he was sitting in a cafe in Hatay was not effectively investigated. The court issued 10,000 Turkish liras of compensation to be paid to him. The investigation against the police officers will be reopened.
PEN International made a declaration with the reminder that the Kurdish author Meral Şimşek will stand trial on September 21, demanding all charges against Şimşek to be dropped. Şimşek is on trial with a claim of imprisonment for up to 15 years due to terrorist organization membership and up to 7.5 years due to making terrorist organization propaganda.
The Lawyers Association for Freedom and Association for Solidarity with Those Arrested and Convicted prepared a report on the rights violations happening in Diyarbakir prisons. According to the report, those arrested and convicted face forced naked search, insults and violence. Hygiene issues became more complicated in prisons as well, with difficulties in the access to medical service.
All official permissions issued for the Notfest Bozcaada Theatre Festival were cancelled 2 days before the festival, which was organized for August 27 to 29. The cancellation were based on decision of Bursa Regional Directorate to Protect Cultural Properties, which stated the physical condition of the castle is not suitable for such events with intense participation at the Bozcaada Castle. The castle hosts various festivals, concerts, and plays every year on the island, with the latest event being a concert organized in July. Because of the latest events being so close, the cancellation has been interpreted as a prevention against the artists who are known to be oppositional, such as Genco Erkal and Şevket Çoruk.
Gelecek ay görüşmek dileğiyle. Hoşça kalın.